Good morning, friends. It's Miss Marissa, and I'm here with another circle time video. So today I wanted to start our video by talking about the story of Passover. Have you heard of Passover before? Yeah, it's a holiday coming up. It's a holiday where we have a Seder with our family, and we eat matzah, and we look for the afikomen. It's pretty fun. But before we celebrate the holiday, we have to know where it came from. So our story starts a long time ago. There was a mommy who had a baby boy, and his name was Moses. Moses and his mommy were Jewish, and they lived in a place called Egypt. In Egypt, there was a mean Pharaoh who made all of the Jewish people work all day and all night. Not very nice, huh? One day, the Pharaoh decided that he was going to tell all the Jewish mommies and daddies that any baby boys that they had to send them away. Is that nice? No, I don't think so. I don't think that the Pharaoh is a big mensch, huh? Anyway, so Moses' mommy put Moses in a basket and sent him down the river, hoping that somebody really nice would find him and take care of him. Do you know who found baby Moses after he was floating down the river in his basket? If you said it was the Pharaoh's daughter Miriam, you were right. So Pharaoh's daughter Miriam found the little baby Moses, and she said, "Oh no, look at this helpless little baby. I must help him." So she took the baby to her mommy, and her mommy decided that they were going to take the baby in as their own and raise him as part of their family. So Moses got to live with the Pharaoh and his family. So he grew up with Miriam and their other brother Aaron, and his whole life he thought that he was Egyptian just like the rest of his family. He didn't know he was really Jewish. So one day, Moses was taking a walk, and he was a little upset and just wanted to think. And he was walking around, and then he saw a bush. Do you know what was happening to the bush? It was burning. It was up in flames. And when he saw the burning bush, he heard God's voice talking to him. Do you know what God said to him? God said, "Moses, you're Jewish. Yeah, and I need you to go to the Pharaoh and tell him that it is time to let all of the Jewish people go so that they don't have to be slaves anymore." Do you think Moses was a little scared to go to the Pharaoh and tell him to let all the Jewish people go? I bet he was. He was probably really scared. He said, "What if the Pharaoh's kind of mean? What if he's mean to me when I tell him to let the Jewish people go?" But God said, "You know what, Moses? I need you to have ometz lev. I need you to have a hero heart and go tell the Pharaoh that it is time to let your people go." So that's what Moses did. He went to the Pharaoh and he said, "Pharaoh, I'm really Jewish, and I need you to let my people go." And what do you think the Pharaoh said? He said, "No, no, no." So Moses said, "All right then, God is going to put a plague on you and all of your people until you let the Jewish people go." But Pharaoh didn't believe him. He said, "Yeah, whatever you say, Moses." So he went to bed. And then the next morning when they woke up, do you know what had happened to all of the water in their town? If you said that it turned red, you were right. They woke up and all of their water was red, so they couldn't drink it, they couldn't wash themselves with it. It was all red because God was trying to punish the Pharaoh for being so mean to the Jewish people. So Pharaoh said, "Okay, Moses, okay, go tell your God that I will let the Jewish people go." So God said, "Okay," and he lifted the plague. But when he lifted the plague, Pharaoh said, "I was just kidding. I'm not letting your people go. I tricked you." Uh-oh. So what do you think happened the next day when Pharaoh woke up? There was another plague. Do you know what plague came next? What did God send down to the Egyptians and Pharaoh next? Frogs. If you said frogs, you were right. There was frogs everywhere, hopping all around. And everybody said, "Oh no, Pharaoh, you must go. Let those Jewish people go. There's too many frogs." So the Pharaoh said, okay, Moses, I'll let your people go. So God lifted the plague and all the frogs were gone. And then what do you think Pharaoh did? That's right, he said, "I was tricking you again. I'm not letting your people go." He's not very nice, is he? So, the next day when he woke up, do you think there was another plague from God since he didn't let the Jewish people go yet? There was another plague. What one came next? First the water turned red, then there were frogs, and then there was lice. God gave all the Egyptians and the Pharaoh lice. So they were so itchy and so yucky, and they were so miserable. They said, "Pharaoh, please let the Jewish people go so we don't have this lice anymore." So Pharaoh said he'd let the Jewish people go again. So God lifted the plague again. And do you know what happened next? Did Pharaoh let the Jewish people go? Nope. So the next morning when he woke up, there was another plague. And this one was the plague of, can you see? Flies. There was flies everywhere. They were bugging all the people, and everybody was swatting around saying, "Flies, go away, go away." So Pharaoh told Moses that he would let the Jewish people go so that God could lift the plague. But once the plague of flies was all gone, Pharaoh said, "I tricked you again. I'm not letting these Jewish people go." So the next morning when he woke up, do you think there was another plague from God? This time, God had made all of the Egyptians' animals sick. So they couldn't get milk from their cows, they couldn't get eggs from their chickens, all their animals were sick. So do you think the Pharaoh let the Jewish people go this time? Not yet. He still wouldn't let them go. So the next day when they woke up, there was a whole new plague from God. Do you know what this plague was? It has to do with their skin. There was red bumps all over their skin. There was boils. Oh, do those Egyptians look happy in that picture? They had boils all over their skin because Pharaoh still wouldn't let the Jewish people go. He is not being a mensch. So, do you think that the boils were finally enough for the Pharaoh to let the Jewish people go? Nope. The next day, God had to send another plague. Do you know what plague came next? It was hail. It was big chunks of ice falling from the sky. It's called hail. It's not very fun. It's kind of like snow, but it's harder and colder. So finally, Pharaoh said, okay, I'll let the Jewish people go. I'll let the Jewish people go. Just kidding. He tricked them again. So God let the hail go away, and the next day he had to send another plague to show Pharaoh that he wasn't kidding. He needs to let the Jewish people go. So this time he sent a plague of locusts. Have you ever heard those loud bugs that make crazy noises outside? Yep, those are locusts. So there's locusts everywhere. All of the Egyptians were so annoyed. They said, "Pharaoh, these bugs, these locusts, they won't leave us alone. They're so noisy and they fly everywhere. Oh, can you let the Jewish people go so we can get rid of these locusts?" So Pharaoh said he would let the Jewish people go, but do you think he really did? Nope. So the next morning, God put another plague on Pharaoh and all of his people. This time, he made it so that the sun didn't even come up that day. It was all dark. Look, do you think they were scared? Probably. A lot of people are scared of the dark. So they were in so much darkness, they couldn't see their friends or their families. Do you think the Pharaoh let the Jewish people go now? Nope. The darkness still wasn't enough for the Pharaoh to let the Jews go. What else is God gonna have to do? Let's see. He's gonna put another plague on the people of Egypt and the Pharaoh. Do you know what another plague was? He said, just like the Pharaoh told all of the Jewish people that they had to send away their baby boys, I'm going to make all of the Egyptians and the Pharaoh send away all of their firstborn children. So now, all of the Egyptians and the Pharaoh had to send away their oldest children. Do you think they were happy about that? They were very, very sad. The Pharaoh looked around and he said, wow, I've never seen my people so sad before. You know what? I think it's time to finally let these Jewish people go. So he said to Moses, he said, you get your people out of here as quick as you can. I don't want to see you again. Leave. So Moses went to his people and he said, hurry, hurry, we must leave. We must leave now before the Pharaoh changes his mind. So everybody gathered up all of their things and they took all their challahs out of the oven, and their challahs didn't even have time to rise, so they were flat, and that's how we have matzah. So they took their matzah and they took all of their family and all of their little things that they could gather up so that they could run away from the Pharaoh before he changed his mind and made them stay. So Moses and all of the Jewish people had gotten away and they were walking so far and trying to find a new home. But not long after they had left Egypt, the Pharaoh had changed his mind. So he sent his army to go catch the Jewish people. So Moses and all of his Jewish people, they were walking and they came to the Red Sea. And then they realized, oh no, we can't go any further. We're not going to be able to get to safety. Pharaoh has his army coming after us and we're stuck here, not able to cross the Red Sea. What are we going to do? Do you know what Moses did? He raised his walking stick up in the air and he prayed to God. He said, God, please help me, help my people get to safety. Do you know what happened next? The water in the sea parted down the middle so all of the Jewish people could walk through with Moses. That was God helping Moses part the Red Sea so that all of the people could walk to safety. Yeah, that's pretty awesome, huh? That God would be so helpful and be so nice to all the Jewish people. That's the kind of thing God does. He protects us and he guides us to where we need to go and where we need to be safe. So that is why we celebrate Passover, because we are celebrating that God helped guide us to safety so long ago when the Egyptians were trying to keep us. So we celebrate Passover to thank God for getting our people to safety and for sending Moses to our people and guiding Moses on how to help us. So yeah, that's why we celebrate Passover, to thank God for Moses and all that he did for us. Yeah, so did anybody count how many plagues there were? There was the red water, the frogs, the lice, the flies, the boils, the sick animals, the locusts, the darkness, the firstborn child, and I think I'm forgetting one. Can anybody tell me? Did I say darkness? Hail, that's what it was. And hail, that's 10 plagues. Can we count to 10 all together? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good work, friends. Now let's count that in Hebrew. Ready? Echad, shtayim, shalosh, arba, chamesh, shesh, sheva, shmone, tesha, eres. Good job, friends. We counted to 10 in Hebrew together. I think now that we're done with our story of Passover, we should talk a little bit more about numbers. Since there was 10 plagues, we can talk about some of the numbers between 1 and 10. Like maybe the number... Anybody know what that is? That's a 6. Let's talk about the number 6. I think I'm going to I have some Legos here next to me. And I think I'm going to take some Legos and make a tower of 6 Legos so we can see just how many 6 is. So I'm going to start with a blue Lego. I have 1, echad, 2, shtaim, 3, shalosh, 4, arba, 5, chamesh, and and 6, shesh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Echad, shtaim, shalosh, arba, chamesh, shesh. There we go. We have 6 Legos in this tower. All right, what about a different number? Let's talk about the number... Ooh, what number is that one? 2. All right, so we have 6 Legos here. How many of these Legos do we need to take away so that there's only 2 Legos? Let's take 1 away. Is there 2 Legos yet? No, now we have 5 Legos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's take another one away. Is that 2 Legos yet? Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's take another one away. How about now? Is that 2 Legos? Not yet. Let's take one more away and see. Is this 2 Legos? Yeah, 1, 2. Very good, friends. Echad, shtaim. All right, let's talk about the number 8. That's a pretty big number. All right. Do you think if we make a Lego tower that has 8 Legos in it, do you think that tower is going to be taller than the one that we made with only 2 Legos? I think so. Let's see. All right, we'll start with 1 red one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Oh, where did my 8 card go? Oh, here we go. We made a tower of 8. And this is what our tower of 2 looked like. So which one is smaller? Which tower is smaller? This one. And this one is taller, right? This is the tall tower, and this is the short tower. This one's smaller than this one. All right, let's count our 8 tower just to double check before we move on to our next number. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Echad, shtaim, shalosh, arba, chamesh, shesh, sheva, shmone. There we go. We made a tower of 8. Good job, friends. All right, let's do one more number before we go. Let's see. Ooh, I love this number. 5. That's right, 5. That's all your fingers on one hand. All right, let's make a tower of 5 Legos. Ready? We'll start with 1 yellow one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that all of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect, friends. We did it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good work, friends. All right. So I think that maybe now that we just talked about our numbers with our Legos, maybe you can go and play with your Legos and make towers and count how many Legos you put in your towers. That might be a fun thing to do. If you make some pretty tall towers, make sure to tell your mommies and daddies to take pictures so you can send them to me so I can see your awesome towers. All right, friends, I hope you had fun talking about the story of Passover with me and counting some of our Legos. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I can't wait to see you again. Bye-bye.